friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a coffee dyeing session. So I've done some mixed media paper creating, but I've not really filmed just straight up coffee dyeing process for me. I am in desperate need of some 20-pound paper oh my goodness, let me start over. 20-pound paper that is coffee dyed. So that's what I'm trying to get at, basically. So I thought we would do that today. I'm also going to be dyeing some fabric and lace. So I've got my paper out here, and we'll have to do this in two pieces. And some of it I won't be able to show you because over there is where I'm going to be laying, I've got a L-shaped table, and I'm going to be laying them over there. And what I do when I'm coffee dyeing is I coffee dye a bunch and then I stack them. I don't lay them out flat. I just stack them on top of each other. Just stack them on top of each other because it just transfers that dye from the top of one to the bottom of another. It works really, really well. Then we'll go back in and we'll come in with some acrylic inks, and we'll come in with some stencils and add some more mixed media kinds of designs to them. You've probably seen them a little bit in what I've been sharing on the channel, but I thought I would show you that as well. So anyway, I've got my paper. I'm not going to be doing this much. I just don't want to get up and get more. So I'm just going to set that aside. Here is the fabric. I've got this eyelet fabric that I'm going to be coffee dyeing. I saved a snippet of it to not dye and just leave it white. And then I've got all these lace bits, and this is more eyelet trim. I absolutely adore this. And then I've got this beautiful stuff that's just really durable, and then this kind of fringe stuff that I got all at Hobby Lobby when it was on sale this week. So I'm just going to set all that aside. I'm going to move my mouse completely out of the way because often I hit it and it turns the camera off. I've got a spatula just to kind of move things around a little bit. I've got my coffee. I'm hoping this is going to be enough. This is about half of a jar. I go pretty dark with my paper. I might go a little bit lighter this time, but I like my fabric bits, textiles, to be darker. I've got some gloves, and I've already boiled a pot of water, so I've got that setting here. Be very careful, you guys, because it's obviously very hot. Oh, and I also have my stencils, so let me just show you these really quick. We will be pulling from this book for stencils, so these leaves will be masks we'll be using. These are all my Sean Petite stencils. They're my go-to stencils for the most part, and I love using them for coffee dyeing. This is one that I've used quite a lot, and I use that one also for jelly printing. So I'm just going to set that aside because we're not going to need that quite yet. So running out of room for places to set things. So let's get going. So we're going to start by getting this solution ready, and so I will we'll let this set, let it dissolve, and then we'll start dipping our paper in. I do dip pretty much one page at a time because then I don't have to fight with things being stuck together. So I'm taking off my watch because I don't want to get that wet, right? Set it up there for charging. And I'm going to go ahead and pour in, and again, this is about half full right now, so I'm going to pour in. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on my paper this time, so I don't know if that looks lighter or not. Oh, I'm running out of room. Goodness gracious. I'm going to go ahead and pour my water in. I'm going to break up that clump. I'm going to pour my water in. If you're using one of these trays, do make sure that it does not have a crack, because this would be a very terrible, terrible accident if you were to spill that. So I will have to go out and do more water when we get to the part 2 of this process. Some of this I will probably set to music just because it's a pretty long and drawn out process. So I'm just going to kind of move this around. And obviously, you don't want to put your hands in boiling water, right? So we're going to let that set for a few minutes. So I think I'm going to try to move it off to the side, and we'll go ahead and pick our stencils just while we're waiting. And again, be very careful, you guys. That is very, very hot. So let me grab the stencils again, and we'll pick some that we want to do some use in our coffee dyeing. So I do know I want these. I haven't used them in coffee dyeing yet. They're a newer stencil. We also have these butterflies, which can be super fun. So let's grab these masks as well. And it's getting warm here. I'm in Washington State, and it's been a little bit cooler temperatures, but I can feel, oh my goodness, I can feel the heat building today. I don't have the air on because it's it gets really loud in here, and it's really distorts the audio. So I'm going to go ahead and get some stencils out. I'm going to set them over here. I don't have enough room. This is one of my favorites to use for coffee dyeing. They stick in here because I don't clean them very well, as you can see. And again, these are all Sean Petite stencils. We're going to use this one, this beautiful rose, what is it called? Layered up 3 tiles and flower. Isn't that just gorgeous? I need to put my hair up, guys, because it is warm. Goodness gracious. Give me a second. So again, many of you know how to do this, but for beginners, I'm hoping it will be helpful. So has all been very new for me. So I'm just flipping through. I don't really want floral stuff, like that straight up florals. I love this one also for coffee dyeing. This is the Mediterranean 1 stencil. And let's see, oh, the wings would be really pretty. I've never done the wings. I mean, I've used this stencil before, but I've never used that for coffee dyeing though. This one is also another beautiful one for coffee dyeing. And I think that's probably going to be it because we don't want to get too overwhelmed here. And then that's the rose one, another favorite stencil, as you can see. Again, I don't worry about cleaning them super great because I use them mostly for mixed media. This is gorgeous too. This is the flower stencil with the mask. I never use this part. I don't know what it's for, the kind of the negative space. And let's see. This would be really pretty too. So now we've got to say no. We got to say stop. So, oh, that's another. I haven't used this one for coffee dyeing either. We got to use this. It's got this alphabet. It's a layered up alphabet. So we might have to narrow those down a little bit because I've got a lot going on there. But we're just going to play, and hopefully the video won't be too long. I will be speeding through and not talking through my actual dipping of the paper. I'll start by chatting, and then we'll get silent there, and because I don't have very much room here. So while we're waiting, I think I'll just take a sip of my coffee. Create your own sunshine is what my cup says. It is early on Sunday morning of Labor Day weekend. You're gonna see I'm very, very far scheduled out, so you probably won't see this video for 2 weeks from the date that I'm recording it because I'm super ahead, thankfully. And what else were we going to do? Oh, let's grab some inks. Let me just pull my drawer out so that we can look together and decide what inks we want to use. So this is a drawer, Cowlix drawer that's right behind me. And I want to pick some different colors that I don't normally pick. I tend to go for the same ones. So this is a muted pink. That's really pretty. We do want our gold. Muted gray. Let's do some transparent raw umber. Love, love, love the sap green, so we're going to use that. I think that this Amsterdam quinacridone rose would be pretty. And I don't want to go too crazy. I do want to get a blue. How about a muted turquoise? Let's do that for now. and then we can always do another batch another time. This is transparent raw sienna, might be nice. So I'm just going to put that drawer away again. It's just right behind me. Super convenient. And so I think I'm just going to set these inks up here in front of me here, just to get them out of the way. So let's get this over here. I think it might be okay. I'm just going to stick my finger in there and see if I can tolerate that. Yep, that's not too bad. So now I'm going to get my paper back over here. And what I'm going to do, if I failed to mention this before, forgive me for the clank, there we go, is I'm going to dip these papers and I'm going to set them over there. And then we'll come back and do the second step. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up. I think that's enough for now. I think I'm going to grab some of the 65-pound paper and do a bit of that too. Just a moment. I don't want to get coffee all over my studio though, so I'm going to wipe my hands or all over my paper. Okay, so while my second batch of water was boiling, I went ahead and used the rest of the, most of the coffee dye in here, did some more 65-pound paper, did some more of the lighter weight paper, and now we're going to go ahead and do our textile stuff because then we can just get that out of the way, if that makes any sense. I'm just setting some of this paper aside so it's out of my way. So let me just move all of this. So this is the 65-pound paper that I did. So you can see just by holding it, it's just really, really heavy, and that makes it really nice. And what I realized was that when I did this stencil and acrylic ink and all of that the last time, I didn't do very much of it with the 65-pound paper. So I thought, wow, I'm going to go ahead and get more of that. So I'm just setting this off to the side so it's out of our way. And I want to show you the difference here. This is the 20-pound paper. You can see just by looking at it and how it folds that it's just much lighter and it doesn't hold up as well. Don't worry about the tears and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. So I actually love the effect that it gives. It can be problematic though if you want to run it through your printer if it's got tears and stuff, so you just want to be mindful of that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to I think I'm going to do the rest of this coffee in here, the whole jar. I just buy cheap instant coffee. I should probably just get it at the dollar store, but I don't go there very often, so I'm going to go ahead and put my water in here. And because I'm working with cotton, it's going to absorb a lot of water, so I'm going to put a lot in here. and just kind of use it all up here, and we will let that let that cool off, obviously, just as we did the first time, because that is stinking hot. Stinking hot. So maybe while that's kind of cooling off, let me move that out of the way again. Be very careful, my friends. So let's go ahead and get this 65-pound paper over here. And we'll play with a little bit with some acrylic inks. So what I do is I have a stack here. I put some acrylic paint on here, some stencils, whatever it is that I'm working with, and then I set it over here. So I put it over here, and then when I do the next piece, I just put that one upside down, or in some, so it's kind of they're crossing each other, so that what's on the top of one gets on the bottom of another one, if that makes sense. So I am going to try to release these somewhat so that we can move fairly quickly. This is one piece, so I'm going to go ahead and use let's just use some raw umber here. So I just kind of squirt it on like that. I don't worry too much about anything. I'm going to get a little bit of water in case I want to move that a little bit. I've just got this little glass bottle. So there we go. So that's all you do. You can set a stencil on there as well. The thing is, you do have to leave the stencil on as the paper is drying. So that's the tricky part. And then you can drop more ink on top of the stencil. Don't worry about getting it dirty. This is the fun part, right? I think I'm going to go in with another color here. I think I'm going to go in with this muted gray, which it says it's gray, but it's really not gray. But we're just going to drop some of that in too, just see what we get. See what we get. And what I'll do is I will take a bunch of pictures so that you guys can see the end result, and you'll be able to see them at the end of the video. So there we have that. So that is one paper. And since we were here, let's go ahead and drop some gold in here. I love the gold. Except my little dropper is not working very great. Oh, come on. There we go. I might have to get one of my pipettes out because this is not working very well. Sometimes that happens with these inks because they're an acrylic ink. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and move this top piece of paper, and I'm going to move it over here. That did tear a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to let some of that run off on this other one. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to set that over there. And oh, there we go. We can keep them both in screen. And then what I do, because I can take advantage of this, all of this medium on here, and I can just put this one on top of it. And you do want to kind of line them up so you don't get funny edges. And then I can do more on this one. So let's go ahead and get some of the sap green, one of my favorite colors. And let's get some of that gold. I'm going to grab a pipette here really quick, guys. My icky hands. It's always tricky because everything in my studio is white, so everything I touch could be quite messy. I'm just going to set this down because that's not really working. See if we can get some gold. Oh, that's better, I think. And kind of splatter too a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Let's go ahead. Hopefully that's not going to spill. Let's set it up there. I'm going to get my water. It's not moving very well, is it? I don't really want to do that. I want it to have strange lines. So now we can go ahead and do another stencil. So let's go ahead and use this one. And it doesn't matter which side you go on. I'm just going to set that down. Like so. I think I'm going to go in with some raw umber as well on this one. Give it a little spritz of water. Because you leave the stencil on and then it just kind of dries like that, which is just really epic. This is going to be gorgeous. I can tell. So then I take another piece of paper And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put it over this one. So we're going to get what's on the top of the other one onto the bottom of this one. Then let's go ahead and go in. I'm going to put some water on here just to help some of this ink to move. This is the quinacridone rose from Amsterdam. It doesn't move great, so I'm hoping that having some water down, that will help. That is helping. So let's do that, and then we already did the pink. Let's do the pink in the Liquitex, which again is not really pink, as you're going to see here in a moment. It's kind of, well, I guess it is kind of a pink, but it's got more of a purple tone. Maybe that's why they call it muted. Not sure. I'm going to go in with some of the raw umber again. Oh, that was a lot. Cara-Renee. I'm going to try to, well, I don't want to pick it up. Again, I don't want to pick it up because I don't want to affect what's underneath. So I'm going to grab another piece and I'm going to set this right here. I'm going to push it down. And then I'm going to make another pile off to my left here and set this one down if I can get a hold of it. And so that's what you get. I know you can't see all of this, guys, but look at what it's done there. It's absolutely stunning. Look at that. I think we need some gold here, so let me grab that again. And again, pardon my arms, you guys. I talked about that in a video down the road, but I've got some bites that are not healing. So it's kind of nasty. So we're going to put this stencil down here like that. And then we're going to go ahead and, what do we have on the other side of this one? Nothing. So we're going to set this one, I don't know if you guys can see that, the unaffected side down and put it right on that stencil. And then I'm going to just put this one, because we don't want them all to be super vivid, so I'm going to put this one on top of this one, upside down, like that. So let's go in with some blue. This is the muted turquoise. Very, very vibrant color. If I can get it open. Gorgeous color. This will be great in the fairy journal, I believe. I haven't started it. It's up and coming. Still thinking about how to make it incredible. So I'm going to use this transparent raw sienna. It's kind of a yellow. Really, really beautiful. And yellow and blue make green, so that's going to give us some lovely effect too. And let's go ahead and I'm just going to turn this one over on this one. This is just a really quick way to kind of share all that color between different papers. And I'm going to go ahead and just tap that off like that. So that's a lot of color. You guys see that? A lot of color. So I'm going to turn that over here like so. This one's actually quite pretty as it is. So I think I'm going to turn this one over on here. And I'm going to do one more here, and then we're going to introduce another stencil. So this is, that's the muted gray. Let's try some more of the green. And we're going to get a little bit of gold. I'm going to have to order some more of this. It's one of my favorites. Like so. And let's get some water to get this moving. So pretty. So let's go ahead and get a stencil down here. I think I'll use this one. It's beautiful. This is called Layered Up 3 Tiles and Flower. So we're going to do that. And then I'm not sure what result we're going to get. I think we better put something down here on this too so that we get a good result. I think I'll go in with some of the raw umber, just so that we've got plenty going on here. And then I'm going to turn this paper over on top of that. I think we're only going to do the sampling on video of the 65-pound paper. I'll do the 20-pound paper off camera because this is taking a while. And I actually love what's happening here, so I'm not going to do any more there. You don't want to make everything super crazy, right? You want it to have just some nice interest, you know. And let's get some of the raw umber on this one. maybe a little bit of gold. I just love the gold, especially with a stencil. So beautiful. And let's go ahead and spritz that and get some of that color moving a little bit. Let's go ahead and do another stencil. Let's do this one. I'm not going to put anything down. We're just going to see what kind of result we get by not doing that. And yeah, let's just try it. You never know till you try. Turn that over. It doesn't have to be precise. And here, what do we want to do? I feel like I need some more colors, so give me a second, guys. What else do we have in here? We've got some purple. We've got some gray. Oh, is that Payne's gray? Oh, cool gray. Cool gray might be fun. And let's go ahead and get just a few more colors here. Why not? We've got this Daler and Rowney fluorescent pink. That might be fun to play with. But let's try this cool gray. This is from Daler and Rowney. Never used it for this, so the stopper's not working at all. Okay, so let's get a pipette. And again, I think that happens because it is acrylic ink, so it's acrylic, so it can get stopped up. So let's go ahead and go in with this. It's a phthalo green, basically. It's a very, very vibrant color. Let's just try it. Be sure to cap your stuff. The only ones I'm not capping are the ones with the pipettes in them because you don't want a mess. Oh, that's super bright. I'm not really digging that. So we're going to go in with some. Oh no, I didn't follow my own instructions, you guys. I just spilt my raw umber. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Let me let's see if I can grab a paper underneath here to rescue that. There was one I didn't cap, you guys. It's all on my, it's not spilled on my table or anything. It's just spilled on other paper. So I'm going to take another piece and just kind of see if I can sop that up. Oh my goodness. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh man, that's terrible. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just improvise. We're going to get another stencil. We're going to put this on here. We're going to get some gold and just try to take advantage of this because it's not terrible. It's just wasn't what I planned. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of water there to move that, and then I'm going to turn this one over on it. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. We're going to turn this over. There we go. And I just love that. I love what's happening there. I don't mind that. So because we've got so much going on here, I am going to just turn this one over on that, but I am going to add a little bit of gold. I love the surprise factor of this gold. Our water is probably getting cold, but that's okay. Just playing. That gray is very interesting. I haven't seen that before. Let's go ahead and use our angel wings stencil. Just going to put that over here, and then we're going to turn this one over on it. And the downside is you can only use each stencil one time because we are keeping it in the paper. So that's okay though. And I'm loving that. I feel like it needs a little bit something to tone that green down. It's pretty crazy. So guys, please, please, please cap your inks. Don't do what I just did. I think we need some transparent raw umber to tone this down a little bit though, again, because it's super, super vibrant. And perhaps, again, I'm screwing that on, guys. It's a joke, like, I'm a slow wit, but improving. That comes from a book a story called Moses Mortality Swoop, I think, is a little African-American boy. When my kids were little, I used to read that, like I could read it and sound like an African-American person, and not in any way trying to be, make fun at all. The accent was so cute in the story that I was just like, oh, it's so sweet. And I actually could do it pretty good. This is going to be stunning. Stunning. So let's go ahead and I don't really want another green one on there. We've got green everywhere though, so we're going to have to just go with it. And we need to finish this up though, because we need to get back to the textiles. So I'm just going to put some of this muted pink in here. Some of this is going to be gorgeous for the fairy journal, I think. A little bit of gold. We can kind of spritz this a little bit, get some of that moving. I hope that this is helpful, you guys. I really do hope it's helpful. If the video is too long for you, can always speed me up to 2.5 times, or 1.5, not 2.5, 1.5 times the normal speed on the YouTube. And I don't sound terrible, so I'm gonna do that. And then I'm just not liking that I've got this green everywhere. I'm not a big fan of it actually, so I think I'm gonna go in with some raw umber on this one. Just kind of like that, and then just spread that around and turn it over on this other one. I don't bake my paper and I don't hang my paper. Basically what I do when I'm done with this, I leave them all stacked like this, and then I'll begin to separate them, and I will set them in separate piles, and then I turn the pages, and then I separate the pages, and I just keep turning and turning and turning until they're dry. I will probably set them outside, but because the weather's nice, but I don't do any oven drying or anything. I love this. We're going to leave that. It's okay. So let's finish up here because we're getting into the long part here. I'm going to go in with this muted violet. Why not? Boy, those plungers just really get stuck. And how about a little bit of this sap green? Why not? See what it does. You can do as little or as much of this as you like. I tend to just really, really like the super fun colors that we get when we just use a lot of color variation. But you do you. You can go really, really, really light and mellow, or you can go like this and get just a little bit of purple and a little bit of green like we've got there. And we're gonna try to finish up here because, again, we need to get to the textile. Oh, this is fluorescent pink. Oh, look at that. So bright. So bright. I think we'll stick another stencil under this one. See what we get. I've got this one. I just recently used this one in a mixed media video. So I'm going to turn that one over because it's letters, which doesn't really matter when you're doing coffee dyed paper. It's not like it's a big deal if things are backwards, you know, words and stuff. So what shall we do here? How about a little bit of this blue? And we're going to get a little bit of gold. We're just about out of this, so in fact I think we are out of it. Oh, come on, don't be gone. It's okay, it's going to give us enough of an effect. It's going to be stunning. I think that's gone. Pretty much gone. Just sprinkle it out. I have to replace that. So let's just turn this one over on here. I'm going to get some really interesting effects here that I haven't gotten in the past. And I think that we're just going to let this stuff be just plain because sometimes plain is good as well. So, and I will do the rest of the 20-pound paper off camera. So let me get this out of the way here, and then I'll put some still pictures at the end of the video so you guys can see how all of that turned out, because we're not going to really get the full effect on camera. So our last thing we're going to do is our textiles. I didn't use this stencil. Bummer. That's okay. So basically, I don't leave it in here very long, so let's just do this fringe bit here. You can see how dark that is just by dipping it in and taking it right back out. Perfect, perfect. And I just leave it bunched up like this, and then what I'll do is I'll take it outside and put it on the table out on the deck. And then this is that eyelet, and it just, because it's cotton, I think it just, you don't even have to mess with it. Look at how quick that was. Just a dip in and a dip out. Really, really beautiful. So, and it dries this color. It's phenomenal. So let's go ahead and get this one. I haven't coffee dyed this lace. This is one that I buy often, but I don't think I've ever coffee dyed it. So, but isn't that just beautiful? You can also, you know, if you've got extra coffee, you can get some seam binding out or something and use this, but I have some already. Oh, this got all kinds of blue on it. I must have it on my hands, but that's okay. We're just gonna dye this lace. This has got some elastic in it, which I thought was interesting, so we're gonna play around with that in the future. I don't mind that it's got a little bit of blue on there. You can actually put acrylic ink in your coffee dye mixture as well, and that can be fun. And then this lace is our last lace, and then I've just got that eyelet fabric, and we'll do that together. But I love how this works because you can see that the coffee dye just settles into all that stitching, which is what makes it so epic. So there we go. And then our last one is our eyelet trim, or eyelet fabric. So I'm just going to put the whole thing in here. I'm going to have to manipulate this because it's a lot of fabric. And I just kind of put it in there and squeeze it, like so. And then I'll kind of open it up so that we can make sure that we get all the sides of it. Just kind of squeeze it in there. And it's going to go everywhere we need it to go. You can see there we've got all of that covered. And then I'm just going to open this up because I want to make sure that we don't miss any. This is a little bit tricky because it's a big piece of fabric, but we're just kind of going to I Spy and make sure that we've got all the bits. It looks like we did. So let's open up this and see, yeah, we've got color all on the inside as well. So super. So we can just go ahead and I just kind of squeeze it, wring it out like so, and set it aside. So guys, that is it, my friends. So I will be doing the rest of the coffee dye paper. I'll be using some more inks and such, and then I will again show you the results at the end of the video in the still photos. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you learned something. My biggest encouragement is just play. So I will say that one of the things that doesn't work well with coffee dyeing is using water activated mediums. Like you could probably use some powders like pigment powders, but you wouldn't want to then put it in a solution because then all that's going to wash away, right? I might try some of that on some of the 20-pound paper and just see, because it will dry, right? It will dry in the paper, but if it gets reactivated by any moisture, it's just going to change. So that's just something to keep in mind. So that is it, guys. My encouragement is just go play. Just play, see what happens. Use your supplies. You know, it's just paper, it's just ink, it's just stuff. So we learn by playing. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.